Hello, sweet souls. This is DTO in the flow. Let's everyone take a deep breath in through our noses. Exhale through the mouth and get present and get prepared. I am so grateful that today I get to interview Erika Kealapua Faith. And wow, get ready to hear about what she has been experiencing in this lifetime. So Erika lives by trusting that miracles are waiting around every corner. Erika has been teaching yoga since 1995 and built Cloud9 Yoga School in 1999, seeking to create a healing environment through a permission-based model for learning the practice of yoga. She does this through affirmation, reflection, humor, music, poetry, and prayers. Erika inspires people to find their own source of wholeness by asking the deeper questions that bring personal insight, community awareness, and connection with the Great Spirit. A globetrotter, Erika has extensively studied with teachers around the world, traveling to learn all that she can know about people, culture, ecology, and art. These are just some of her adventures. Get ready. She's been to China, Japan, Bali, India, Europe, Tahiti, Australia, Peru, Costa Rica, Hawaii. And by the way, I am in Costa Rica right now, so it's kind of full circle. And she's received the Medicine Buddha initiation. She's certified as an advanced yoga chakra by White Lotus Foundation. And she's been assisting at the Esalen Institute, which is amazing. If you haven't been to Big Sur, so amazing. And with Dr. Lauren Roche, who's the author of Radiance Sutras. And Erika's degree is in transpersonal psychology with an emphasis on yoga therapy from Sonoma State University, California. Erika held a full-time lecturer position in kinesiology and comparative religion at California State University, Fullerton through 2008. And she's been the director of a yoga teacher training and retreats for over 20 years. Erika generously provides the personal attention and leadership to all of her students, colleagues, and organizations. From her affiliations with Breathe for Change, Surfrider Foundation, and OG Yoga, shout out to Joanne, we love you, to the everyday student who comes to her receiving personalized edu vacations. In her lovely home on the Garden Island of Kauai as a yogini and quiet activist. Erika is tremendous at balancing, being a space holder, and a friend. She sees all conscious action as dedication to the well-being of the planet and all life everywhere. Erika's focus has always been on the transformative ability of art, music, and movement, and the gathering of people to bring light into life. These modalities taught her to create healthy relationships, becoming the cornerstone of her own mental health. Erika is currently writing articles on daily activities to mend our human hearts and researching the psychological commonalities between people across the globe. Yes, yes, yes. Without further ado, let's bring on Erika. How are you? Great to see you today.
Aloha, everyone. Aloha, Dave. Thank you for having me. Namaste.
Namaste. What a blessing.
Thank
So,
you.
whoever is watching right now, Eric and I are so curious to know where you are locating. So, if you could write in the comments, this is live streaming right now on a variety of platforms. And of course, it's all about human connection and global connectivity. And so we're live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and all these different Facebook groups and pages and places and spaces in the cosmos. And so whether you're watching this live or on the archive, we want to send you tons of aloha, tons of pura vida. I'm in Costa Rica. And as I read, Erika is located in Kauai. And so, yeah, type in the comments. We can see those and we'll put them on the screen if you'd like us to share. And we're always curious about that. It's always fun to see. And feel free to comment anytime during this interview. And if there's a question you have, you can type it in. And of course, we all know this, caring, is sharing and sharing is caring, right? That's the interloop of generosity. So any way you can do that. And if you don't want to write out a lot of words, we always love in the 21st century, the emojis. You can just put that in, and that also supports us to make sure this interview gets seen by more people in the world. Okay, well, let's begin. Let's do a little drum roll. Ready?
Are we doing the heart?
Yeah, the heart drum roll. All right, so this is a 5Q interview. 5 questions. Let's start off with question number 1. Erika, what is your journey with yoga?
My parents did yoga when I was little. I thought they were completely strange. And, I had to find it on my own. I didn't want to be like my parents. So come, first, second year of college, I was searching, I was seeking, I wanted to know more about spirituality. I wanted to know more about different religions, and I wanted to know more about just philosophies of living. And I found a class at my college called The Psychology of Yoga. And I was like, ooh, I got to try that. And I guess my parents imprinted something good, that little seed. It finally sprouted for me probably in about 1992. And then that Psychology of Yoga class ended up being everything that initiated me further into my journey of yoga. So we used somatic yoga as the foundation for my first yoga class at the college level. And it was Eleanor Criswell Hanna. And she brought both the somatic piece, like the movement therapy piece, and the ancient traditional yoga piece together. And so I got such a really great introduction to yoga, and I was hooked.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And the psychology of yoga. A lot of times people don't even think about that. They don't think of the mental health or parts of it. Most people, especially in the West, they consider it's just body movement, right? You're making shapes with your body, which, literally you are, but what's happening internally in the mind, as we know, is infinite, and it's
Absolutely.
really beautiful.
And it's funny because it's part of what the somatic approach is like, how can I create a relationship to more the inner landscape? And that ends up being what comes out of your physical landscape. So it's like working on the inside out rather than the outside in. And I really love that approach.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2. So what inspired you after receiving all the goodness and being a student of this practice? What was it that allowed you to have this moment possibly where you said, hey, I'm going to become an instructor. I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to pass on this knowledge and this wisdom.
I had a teacher, because I actually stayed on in that Psychology of Yoga class through all my semesters. So like I just took the class because I needed it myself. And the second round I took the class, my teacher at the time had to step out of the room. And there were like 40 students in that class. And she just looked straight at me and said, Erika, take over. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I freaked out. But then I was like, okay, Erika, you could do this. So it was that just on the spot initiation. And she stepped out and I was like, okay, everyone, here we go. And like taught everybody a triangle pose. And I got like all this wonderful feedback afterward. The teacher said, Erika, everybody's, singing your praises. Why don't you consider doing an internship in yoga therapy in this class? And it was like, are you kidding me? That's even a possible thing for a degree in psychology? Okay, let's do it. So I got the approval from my counselor. I got the approval from the department, and I continued with that internship throughout my degree. And it was incredible. I learned Shivananda yoga. I learned Kripalu yoga. Eleanor Criswell Hanna, who wrote the book on somatic yoga and her husband wrote the book on somatics, she was my first mentor. So I had this direct apprenticeship with this incredible teacher who is world known and had wrote her own books and now had a college course on yoga. So I had the right start for sure. Lots of support.
That's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Tag, you're it.
Crazy moment. But like that's and it life happens when you least expect it, right? Like you can't miss your
Mhm.
destiny. Whenever something's supposed to come to you, you don't have to run after it. It just lands right in your lap. And all the good things that have happened in my life have been just like out of the blue. Like I didn't even have
Right.
to try anything. Like I worked and taught at Cal State University Fullerton for almost 7 years. And that particular opportunity came to me through just a normal everyday gym class at South End Racquetball Club in Torrance, California. One of my students, Claire, her husband was the high tenure faculty, Ken Revisa, at Cal State Fullerton. And he's the one who created this yoga program. It was a
Mm.
kinesiology and comparative religion course combined for 2 units. So it wasn't just movement. You had to do the philosophy. You had to have some sort of assessment and tests at the end. So he called me. He's like, I'm going on leave. Do you think you'd be able to take over? And I was like, you mean me teach a college course? Okay. So I went and interviewed, well, what I thought was an interview with the dean in the health science department. And she's like taking me around the campus and showing me where I would teach. And then we sit back down in her office and she gave me my contract. So it
Mm.
was like, that just happened, and incredible, right? And so I ended up being there for 7 years and I saw 300 students at least a semester. I taught 3 classes. I ended up um, kind of creating another course called Yoga Teacher Preparation course there. It just kept going on and opening new doors. So I'm grateful for all
Mm.
these things, and White Lotus Foundation also created a beautiful amount of opportunity for me as a yoga instructor. I mean, once I decided, like after I got my degree in transpersonal psychology, I was like, I better just go to an ashram and actually like do the full yoga experience. And so I
Mhm.
chose Santa Barbara and Ganga White and Tracy Rich. And they were incredible mentors for me too, and have been, friends over the years. And they kept me pushing on this path to keep expanding myself. So yeah,
That's
right,
beautiful.
right time. Yeah.
Like waves and momentumous moments of inspiration, and you allowing for that to really come through and to expand and transform not only what's possible for you, but for you to have that impact on all those students that you've taught throughout the years. And you are consistently teaching, and we'll get into that later about how you're offering online programs in school for people. So it's really beautiful that it's all just in the flow. It's happening.
Yeah, it really is. The flow is real.
Totally. This is why I call this show DTO in the flow.
It's absolutely perfect.
Oh, it's wonderful. So, because of the psychology background you have, you spoke about the somatic trainings and you having that direct connection, as well as all these other methodologies of yoga, right? So, question 3 kind of sets up to understand for people that may not have taken a class from you yet. So, what makes your classes unique? How are you placing together? We have these Venn diagrams. Here's this and this connects, and you put like multiple circles. And what defines what you're offering, and specifically what Cloud9 Yoga offers?
Of course, our foundation is in yoga for mental health. So it's like working from the inside out, because that is just how the foundation was laid for me. And it just feels so natural. That's what sucked me into the whole world of yoga. So I have that background, but then I've brought in a lot of the vinyasa flow that Ganga and
Mhm.
Tracy taught me when I got my certification at, the highest level there at White Lotus Foundation. And that was more about how can I add these like physical movements with the yoga therapy, like for mental health piece? How can I weave those two together? So I began using the term permission-based yoga, which
Mhm.
is here's your template, here's your foundation. And in the spirit of some of my greatest teachers, Donna Farhi, Eric Schiffman, I began to just do like more of a freedom flow, like express and encourage your body to move in whatever ways it can and wants to, with the breath kind of leading the way. And so by permission, it is like you're checking in with yourself. Like, is this aligned? Is this movement going to benefit me now and in the future? And am I ready for it? Or is my mind and my ego trying to push me in a certain direction? So I really like to create an atmosphere for inquiry and inner exploration and free flow yoga. So that permission-based hatha yoga is usually what I tell people. Like, what is my yoga? It's the fun kind, because I like to play. I like to party. I like to have fun with my students, but there are also moments where like I might come and be like, oh my gosh, you guys, energy is really intense. And we talk about that too. Like, I don't want everything to be glitter and rainbows all the time, because it's not. And so sometimes I talk about the skeleton and the dog poop, that's part of life too. And so a lot of the practices I do have a lot to kind of glean for anti-anxiety, for, deep, heartfelt inner communication, tuning into spirit, feeling your intuition, and finding a moment to laugh, finding a moment to like laugh at yourself, laugh at, just something that's going on in your life, just to create some more lightness and some more playfulness. So that's in essence, that's an Erika class.
Oh, I love that. And I'm sure people that are watching, and there's a comment that came in from Tom right here. It says, love you, Erika Faith. So
Aww, don't tell him, Bray. He's quite the musician, this man.
Oh,
He's
nice.
Quite the jazzy guy. But he does other things besides this jazzy guy. We had we were wine buddies for a while.
Fun. Nice.
Temecula Valley. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I'm very familiar with Temecula. I've done some wine tours there myself. And I actually have played music at some yoga studios way back in the day. So it's really wonderful. And yeah, San Diego County is awesome. And, a little backstory, that's how you and I got to know who we are in the world of yoga. And our lives' journeys take us to different locations. And I feel like that's kind of the basis of my question 3 here about what makes your classes unique. I think that when we're on this personal journey of learning, of growing, of receiving whatever messages are there, even lessons of life don't always come so clear at times. And it's great when you can really integrate those. Or, sometimes even Himalaya, as you met when we were in the green room, says, sometimes the lesson is in the mess, like whatever it is going on in your life, the icky and the gooey and there's a breakthrough possibility for us to really grow. And I think more than ever, here we are in 2021, and there's so many ways that we're able to, and it's springtime, right? So we get to become this beautiful lotus flower. And,
absolutely.
And witness the mud and see that's a part of who we are too, right?
Well, that's the only way the lotus blossom can grow, is in the thick of it, and we're part of that muck that's underneath it. When you walk on the floor of a lake, you feel that squish between your toes. So like, that's how the lotus blossom comes, from that. And it's actually full of minerals and full of compost and stuff that helps us grow. And so, yes, we do make that travel up, and we poke out of the water, and that lotus, no, maybe I'll go back down into the water again. And eventually, we see the light, and we want to just shine. And that's what yoga practice does, is it helps us remember, yes, life is what it is. It can be suffering. It can be intense. It could be struggle. It could be conflict. It could be, wow, it could be epic. So many things. And once we get into the light, we don't want to leave it. We want to feel both in the light and still connected with the earth. The lotus is that. It's a beautiful metaphor.
And Amy sends some aloha your way right now. Thanks for watching, Amy. Aloha. Beautiful.
Amy was also one of my old students and a guest teacher, was a guest teacher for a while for Cloud9 Yoga.
Oh, that's wonderful. Getting some VIP guests here. I love it.
Love it.
Fantastic. Well, I think this would be a great moment. We're at the midway point of the interview where we can share with everyone the video. Would you like to set up the video?
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that.
So the video.
Students in this video. It's a fun video.
Oh, great. So All right, grab your popcorn or your your kale chips, whatever you got. Or I'm in Costa Rica, grab your papaya. All right, here it is, Cloud9 Yoga School.
Trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. These times are poignant, the winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters. Women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, 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 whoa. The fine things my father taught me, that I'm a speck of dust and this world was made for me. So let's go and try our luck. Say it. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down.
So fun, so amazing.
Super rootsy. That's it.
Right.
Mom and pop yoga for 26 years now. I mean, just a super family style, Ohana style. And it's just been like that all along. Even when we did own the studio in Temecula, it was like a home. It was like come in through the front door and hang out and chill, have some tea. But it was also like, let's party together after class. You know,
Totally.
let's hike. So much warmth and so much love. And that's like kind of like, I want to be the center of that. You know, I want to create that nest for all my people. It's in me. I can't
Beautiful.
be but that, you know.
And Diane gives you a big love. Thanks for watching, Diane. Wonderful. Oh my gosh. Well, that's what it's about. And I read that in your bio as well, of like cultivating community and having the community awareness and to really have a connection with the Great Spirit. And the Great Spirit chooses for us to be here, and here we are, and we're part of the energy. Actually, last month I had a launch of my music career, and the song is called Spirit, and it's about that, like being tapped in and sharing with others and not being stingy, right? Like when you have the gift and you can really bridge other people into the light and the high, the clouds, right? That we get to experience and be floating in at times. Like why not share that with the world? And as you've already created that space, as you said, in physical studios, to continually bring that into your online offerings and everything else. And as you know, the power of music, which leads us into our next question, question number 4. So how do you integrate music into your yoga practice?
Well, I want to say a lot about that. And I want to say that it's through generosity that we become truly abundant, because a generous heart just knows no end to that. It's the deepest well there is to just so much that we can give and so much we can share. And it just oozes from us, right? I mean, Dave, you seriously are oozing generosity too. So I just want to reflect that back at you.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of music, I love your music, and I often play your music in classes. I love frequency music, and so I use a lot of healing frequencies during Shavasana. And since I'm mostly online now, I'm not really playing a ton of music, only kind of like before class starts, before the recording, and then like only part that gets really recorded is like whatever's happening at the end during Shavasana. And so it's often the frequency music that I really carry into my classes. But I know that subtle energy and vibration, it really does have an impact on our cellular structure, and it really helps to fire and create new neural pathways for us. And I don't know, I'm almost addicted to listening to it, like while I work, and you know, at night when I'm kind of gearing down, it's something that I feel is another therapy out there that just is to add to our amazing toolbox of healing techniques that we can use.
Yes, and thank you for integrating my music. Here's my debut album, Nameless Energy, and I know my song Breath is one. I can try to find my face here. Hang on. I think I did it. And so I want to share some photos too, now that we're doing some show and tell here. Here's a wonderful photo of you.
Yeah.
Providing some extra bliss during a Shavasana. Such a magical moment. And I love this photo of you.
That's at the Rainbow Eucalyptus Forest up by the Hindu temple here on Kauai.
Oh my gosh. They have those rainbow types of trees as well in Costa Rica. That's beautiful.
They're so cool, aren't they?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Again, I bow to the awe of it all, the Great Spirit, right? Like so much, the flora and fauna of this planet is just amazing, especially when you're in tropical climates. It's just so alive. And you're like, wow.
I need
so
all
beautiful.
that in my life. That's why I decided on Kauai.
Yes.
Yeah. That and many other things, obviously, because, you know, your soul it knows where it's at home. I never thought I was going to live anywhere other than California, but Kauai really called me like deeply. Like when I was in meditation, she's just like, this is it. This is where you're from. This is your people. This is your home.
Yeah. This electromagnetic energy, right? It's like, and here you are. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. And we all get to have these extraordinary chapters of our lives where we get to live different places and have different career paths, perhaps. And, you know, all these opportunities for us as we're writing the book of our lives in real time gives us the chance to explore and to, you know, give it a sample. Why not? You know,
Absolutely.
Figure out what works. And I encourage anyone that's watching now, maybe you're not even ever on your mat or know what a mat is when it comes to yoga, right? It's the practice of yoga itself for many people. You know, I'm from the cornfields of Iowa, so some of my friends follow me on social media, and it's amazing when people reach out like, oh my gosh, I did my first yoga practice and now I get it. You know, I thought it was this other whatever lofty thing that people did, but it's not even that. It's what you're saying earlier. It's like the getting grounded with your roots and then, you know, feeling the bliss as well. And it's our birthright to feel alive and feel connected and to awaken our energy centers and to feel, you something that to me is a global movement. That I'm in Latin America right now, and there's yoga that's offered at this hotel right down the street. And so I get to practice here in Costa Rica, and it just keeps on expanding, keeps on growing. And it's really beautiful to know. But whether you're in Temecula or if you're in Kauai, there's a beauty of that connected energy. And so since you don't have a physical studio, this is a great lead into our question number 5. So what is your next offering, and what are you currently offering the world when it comes to all of your knowledge and experience and your degrees and your background and your wisdom? So how is all of that coming together right now for you with Cloud9 Yoga?
Well, it's really about my school, Cloud9 Yoga School. We're doing 200-hour yoga teacher trainings and 300-hour yoga teacher trainings. And now what we're really focused on developing is that 500 RYT. So combining everything into one course program. And most of it's done online, but it's very hybrid because people come to my classes twice a week online and get to interact, as well as I mentor my students once or twice a week. I do personal one-on-ones as well. And so when somebody signs up for our yoga school, you can do like your yoga degree certification program in 9 months and really dive deep into yoga. And, you mentioned something interesting, and that's, people have a certain idea of what yoga is. And, probably out of 80 classes, maybe 5, we actually look like a pretzel. Most of the time, it's not about touching our toes. It's about how we're giving back to ourselves, and we're honoring our own soul, and we're feeling into our body and doing our inner healing work. And so really the teacher training is a place that we create for ourselves, that we can go to and get into that regular sadhana, the disciplined practice of showing up day after day, week after week, and really seeing how yoga changes your life. So when you commit to something, whether it's 13 weeks or 40 weeks, I love the idea of 40 weeks because that's the gestation period for most human beings, right? In the womb, or even some plants, the time it takes for, from seed to fruit. So it's beautiful to honor, not only the yoga practice that you would go, take a class, but actually dive deep and skillfully into the techniques and the practices to learn. And not just yoga. There's so much beyond like what asana is. We teach philosophy. We teach acupressure. We teach yin yoga and restorative yoga, which is a more softer, more de-stressing practice. And of course, meditation is huge. Meditation in motion, but also meditation in stillness and pranayama, breathing techniques, not just from the yoga tradition, but from some other traditions. And so we're really weaving together the Eastern and Western spiritual forces and creating a place where people can feel really at home and really supported and encouraged and be able to let the practice become their own. It's not trying to impose anything on the students. It's giving them lots of different opportunities to experience the techniques, the different types of classes, the different poses, the different whatevers, and decide on their own, like what really suits me, what aligns to who I am. So very, very permission-based, but very experiential. And I love it because that's what everybody wants the most. It's like, I just want to do it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's do it.
That's great. Know what I thought of recently? I've been come to me like really clearly, I think therefore I am used to be the old methodology of living your lives. I personally now, like, I experience, therefore I am, like, based on experience, you get to also become an expert in whatever field you're in. And what I want to tie together in this thread is beautiful is how, because of this background of you being a college instructor, now you're bringing this into a whole module-based curriculum where people are going to truly be held. These riverbanks are going to be set up. And I feel like you're just the wonderful hybrid of what you get to offer people. And I love, as we're looking at this page right now, this is specifically for yoga instructors, for teachers that are actively teaching. And, a lot of us neglect our own bodies, right? We talk about self-care, self-love, but sometimes we're going so hard. We're like, oh yeah, I got to have some of that for myself. So I love how that these are opportunities to really nurture and to have people go deeper into their own knowledge and practice. And the Ayurveda philosophies and the Sanskrit is really important. Wow, I love all these topics.
Yeah, we do art meditation because I also love to watercolor. Sometimes I weave in a little hula because I'm hula student here. I like to bring that in. There's so much yoga. We call it yoga, but there's so much more in life that is in the spirit of yoga. And so we like to weave in a lot of these practices that are yogic in nature, connection, presence, pure experience, pure consciousness, the things that kind of get us out of our head and into our bodies and into our hearts, into embodiment. And so, yeah, the curriculum, I am a total nerd as far as school and curriculum. And so I've built a very systematic training program that's tried and true. We give you every single detail about every little class, how much time it's going to take, what we're going to be covering in that topic, as well as, different classes and themes of classes, sequences, and how to sequence different classes. So it's just, the list goes on and on. We want to really show people that yoga is a holistic practice. It covers the mind, the body, and the spirit. And I wouldn't say we're just a Raja Yoga school. I would say we have a lot of bhakti, we have a lot of yana, and we have a lot of karma yoga in our school, as well as tantra, which is the yoga of embodiment, truly. And so, we give it all. It's a very hugely rounded program.
Oh, I love all of what you're offering. It really seems like anyone that's watching right now, even if you just want to start from zero and get into whatever kind of experience with yoga, or if you're someone that's more seasoned, then it seems like you're able to really present a whole variety of offerings through your courses. And that's really fantastic. You really have the full experience.
Yes, we're covering all the bases for sure, because I'm a Gemini. So I tend to get bored easily. And it's kind of a miracle that I've stayed with yoga as long as I have, but it's because it is infinitely interesting. And I'm still studying. I'm still a student of yoga, even though I'm teaching teachers, even though I'm mentoring people who are now running their own yoga schools and creating their own amazing, beautiful things out there in the world. But I really feel like I can keep coming back to basics and beginner's mind and really diving into that. But I can also go into deep stuff like the lokas or the Mahadevyas and or Vidyas, and just kind of bounce around from different spiritual topics. I'm looking into all the different Hindu deities and their meanings again right now. And it's just because someone hired me to do a lecture on that, and what is it about, and why do we do it? So I'm always going to be a student, and yoga is infinitely, incredibly interesting.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And when you think of what's available more and more, it's like the never ending gobstopper. You just go and go. And then for me, what I had, my biggest aha moment with yoga was I was in a class with Dharma Mitra at Bhakti Fest. And for people that don't know, Bhakti means devotion. And so I was in this large space. I'm sure you've been to Joshua Tree. Anyone that's watching, I'm sure you have, Erika. And you're just feeling the field of energy. And, that's why it goes back to what I've been designing with my music. That's why my debut album is called Nameless Energy, because I couldn't put a name to it. There's this sensation, there's this vibration, there's this collective consciousness that took place for me, within me, that I felt opened up. And then I got to say, oh, okay, my 30 years of being a musician, then my 3 years at the time of practicing yoga combined in that moment. I was like, okay, I get to be a yogi musician. So for you, with your background in higher education and teaching at Cal State Fullerton, I feel like all of that prepared you to then get into these other realms of what's available and really combining it all together. And yeah, you're right. It just keeps on going and flowing. And, at this point as well, like, and I want to pull up your Instagram because I think it's really beautiful what you share there. It's really inspirational. This is your Om Shanti Mama.
Mm-hmm.
And this is beautiful because you get to, share with whatever. So let me put this clip up real fast. Beautiful. Such a beautiful moment.
It's when everybody's free flowing. And I really encourage my students to do that. It's one of those things that feels like this is yoga moving through me rather than me doing yoga. It's a whole
absolutely
feeling.
It's a wave. I'll go back to that clip because I also share one of my favorite sayings that John Lennon said is he did not write one song. He allowed for the song to write herself. And it's like that, like the practice is practicing you. It's like the Zen Buddhist. If you were to say, why am I washing the dishes? The answer to the riddle is I'm washing the dishes because I'm washing the dishes. You don't have to put any meaning into it. Why am I flowing in the whole yoga practice? I'm flowing because I'm flowing. Why am I feeling so connected? I'm connected because I'm connected. And so it's really beautiful to watch this. And so this was your studio in Temecula, or set us up. Where's this at?
Yeah, this was. And it was interesting. This day was like all the people I loved the most from the studio. I mean, maybe there was a few missing, but it was just like the crew was there, and it just felt like hear everybody breathing in, and I could just feel everybody just in it to get like it was just maximum beauty, and I just had to capture it.
Yeah, and that's what I love too. And this is how I've gotten so inspired by creating music, is being on the mat during these community experiences that so much of our hearts probably miss and yearn for more and more in the world. Is you're just like, wow, like truly I think the cosmic mathematics lesson 1 is that 1 + 1 = infinity. Like if it's you by yourself, your own mind, your own thoughts, you can get really weird at times, right? It's like, what kind of rabbit hole am I going in? But your mental health, I feel, and your overall wellness, when you're connected with others and community, it really provides a framework for you to thrive and to realize, because basics, we're here to be connected to others, right? Like every mammal, if you observe nature, you have family, you have connection. And so when we're connected, as this video is demonstrating, it can be really beautiful. So let's go through a few more photos on Instagram because you have such wonderful inspirational posts.
Yeah, and I'm super excited because I'm just in May. I'm finally going back to in-person.
Nice.
So basically, I'm going to have a couple classes here on Kauai at Bar Soul Kauai, which is my amazing advanced yoga teacher training graduate, Anna Bazalar, and her studio has been here on Kauai for a long time. It's mostly bar, but she's got yoga. She's got, some really beautiful classes. And so, yeah, she's brought me on again. So I'll be there twice a week teaching yoga in person. I know. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. So anyone out there is watching, you can go to Yoga Cloud and then the number 9 and follow Cloud9 Yoga. And you can see there's the link directly there. I know a lot of people prefer Instagram. And so you can see the link below here on the screen. Just go to at Yoga Cloud number 9. And what I love here as well is all of these offerings, all the Hawaiian vibes. Is that you surfing right there?
Yes, that's me surfing right there.
Impressive. That's awesome.
Surfing.
Yeah. Yes. And I've heard so many surfers that say their yoga practice has improved, and so many yogis that say their surfing practice has improved. It's such a great loop, right?
I have a lot of students who are surfers, especially here on Kauai.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Beautiful. So you talked about meditation. So this looks like a really beautiful moment that was captured.
That's an Anini with one of my, when we were doing in-person trainings, which those will return probably shortly too here, we take people out to do in nature to do our yoga trainings. So we're actually create a little outdoor in nature classroom, and we do different practices. And I have all these little secret spots on the island that I take people to that I just love, and we make memories.
Beautiful. And I love here earlier you're speaking about, I think you said triangle pose. This is similar to a triangle, looks like. I'm not sure what that, it's more like a Modified downward dog.
It's a twisting wide leg pose.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. The waves might take your triangle into like a flat earth moment.
Totally.
Meaning that you're flattened on the earth, not that the earth is flat. No conspiracy theories allowed here.
We're spinning.
Yeah. We're spinning, yeah, wherever we go. So this is beautiful. Acro yoga, and I'm sure certain people that are watching this, of course, people that are in your community know all about acro, I'm sure. Oh, by the way, we have Courtney here giving some love your way.
Hey, Court.
So cool. So much fun. Oh, and we have another mutual friend. Imagine that in the global yoga community. Here's Mark Devon Peck. Mark's amazing.
Him. I love Mark. He's such a great community leader too.
He's extraordinary. Yeah, since Mark's here, I'll give some massive gratitude because my first opportunity to perform. So earlier I was speaking about how I had this massive epiphany aha moment when I was at Bhakti Fest in 2013. Actually, anyone that knows about Burning Man, I went to my 4th Burning Man, and then right afterward I decompressed and went to Bhakti Fest in 2013, and that was when it all just synergized into that moment. I was like, okay, I'm going to make this declaration. This is something I recommend anyone can do. We're all energy here. We're playing with the sandbox of time and space, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to create music for yoga. And that's how the following year in 2014, I reached out to Mark, and it was amazing. He said, yeah, come and play music at my class. And him and Newton were co-leading the class. And Michelle May, I'll give a big shout out to her. She's a Ashtangini. When I came to my first Bhakti Fest, the first class I rolled into, it was in Yoga Hall 3, where you're overlooking this beautiful location, and I took a class with Mark, and I was like, whoa, this is Bhakti. This is a whole other vibe. This isn't like some corporate yoga studio where I'm just feeling what I'm feeling. It's great what it is, but I was like, okay, this is like global yoga community, musicians, kirtan, the whole enchilada, as they'd say in Mexico. And I was like, okay. And then talking about what you said earlier, the massive amounts of expansion, momentum, and waves of connectivity. And here we are, live streaming, and Mark is here, so I get to share that experience with him and honor him. Thank you, brother, for your support and for you seeing me as a musician and leading up to even me now, paying it forward and, sharing the music and having music for guided meditation. So, it can integrate into, what you're offering in the world, Erika. So it's really wonderful. And I do want to acknowledge that you have such a beautiful Hawaiian name, Ke Alapua.
Yes, that is my Hawaiian name.
Would you like to explain?
It basically means the path of the flower, or the flowered path, but it also has meaning about something that's everlasting, or something that continues forever. So it's almost like an energy of legacy and cycling. It keeps it goes beyond, and it has to do also with leadership and alignment and guiding people to the light. So there's multiple meanings, and Hawaiian language is beautiful, just like Sanskrit. It has layers. You can go into more a superficial, which is Ke Alapua, it's the flowered path, but then there's deeper meanings. And it just depends on what that person who was thinking about me when they named me, what was that deeper intention when they came up with that name. And so Mahialani, who was one of my more of my Hawaiian philosophy teachers, she's the one who gave me that Hawaiian name. And she said, it's the everlasting.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. So good. So wonderful. Glorious. And let's see, Courtney's here as well. Thank you for watching, Courtney. So wonderful.
I was going to say, we're really blessed in that, we have this community, we're creating this community, and it's continually going, even during this time where we're going through a pandemic. It's been so difficult for so many people and so many teachers to not be able to connect with their students. And so I think we're going to start to see that again, but being able to see each other online and being able to have a live body in front of us and interacting with us is so important. So that's part of our online training as well. We've been I've been meeting my students for 90 minutes each week as a group, and we all meet as a community and share our experiences, share our breakthroughs, share our aha moments, and then do like Q&A, like, I'm having really a difficult time with this particular posture, what do I do? Or my knee really hurts, and what shouldn't I do? So lots of those kind of discussions go on during the mentoring hours, which are just priceless. They're invaluable because we're teaching each other. It's not just me, but it's all of us sharing. And that's the beauty of community, is we learn from all the mirrors in front of us.
Yeah, so many gifts. And what I feel about the practice is so many people, when they get into the doorway of yoga, however they arrive through the portal, all of a sudden, like, as for me, as I was sharing, like, the moment I was like, I get it. And that's why, I chose a mom that plays piano and classically trained me. It's because I'm here, like, my purpose as a musician, as an artist, to create sound waves that now are going to inspire and have like this continual thread into the practice. And as we all know, like, we're all here to show up in different ways. And so wonderful when, as you said, people, even if it's, hey, I love to surf and I want to get more connected with the planet, Mama Gaia and the Great Spirit, and I want to improve my surfing practice from a physical standpoint. Maybe you go into it thinking that, but as we all know, the mind and the soul and the heart, it's all connected. And at some point there's so much that we get to not even know about, but later on we reflect and we're like, as I read in your bio, like, 1995, that was what happened, right? And I was like, that's when you began teaching, right? And now here we are, many years later.
Yeah.
And so great. And then Courtney wrote here, blessed to be listening. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here. And I do want to go back to what Mark wrote, because he wrote such a beautiful testimony of who you are, Erika. He wrote that, first he said that we're the best. And thank you, Mark. He said, Erika, Erika paved the way for real teacher trainings in Orange County many years ago. So thank you for being a trailblazer and a pioneer in that world. And yeah, so wonderful. And my good friend, Michael, DTO on the flow, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great, and as we said, we can't all be together in person right now, but Michael and I had this really amazing moment where we were down in Mexico at this amazing festival in Guadalupe Canyon, very mystical, extraordinary. And we just were walking in the evening under the full moon, and he just started talking. I started talking. It was like, it's like two souls that connect. You're just like, hey, you're my soul brother. Hey, what's up? How you doing? And ever since that moment, we just, he'll pop in online as he did right now. There's just this nameless understanding, like, okay, I see you, I get you. And that's what's wonderful about what you're offering, is you're able to truly have people, no matter where they're located on the planet, to really dive deeper into what it is that yoga can provide their lives. And what, once you get into a practice, and as you mentioned, we are in a time of the pandemics, where what is it that's available for us? And to still go online and to be online is great, but how are you afterwards reflecting to say, wow, that filled me up, like that experience I just got to have? And what you told me in the green room, which I'd love for you to share right now, is how are you offering in-person experience like moments? And what you were sharing with me is you're actually live, but on Zoom, right? And you're having community come together, and you're able to teach, and people can watch recorded modules online as well. So you're really offering kind of the best of both worlds. So if someone signs up for one of your courses today, and by the way, you go to online.cloud9yoga.com, then they could get access to the modules, but they'd also get access to asking you questions and getting teachings from you. Is that correct?
Yes, I teach online live twice a week on Thursdays and Sundays. So everybody can take those. Those are recorded, they're archived. And then I also do mentoring, group mentoring every Friday. And then as needed for any of my students, that's part of just what you get when you sign up. You have my support. And I really, truly believe that I'm not as concerned about how many people get, but the quality and the integrity I can bring to people. And so it's really important for me to have that like connection, that one-on-one attention, and to actually nurture people's becoming a yoga teacher over time, because it doesn't just happen when you finish a bunch of curriculum. It happens as you continue to practice and give yoga, whether it's in person to your friend at home or your neighbor, or if it's giving a Zoom class online, all of those things. But most of us are relating our yoga studies with all the other things we do in life, family, other kind of work, name it, it's going to infuse it. So yoga becomes just everything. And so when we have yoga as that touchstone, it really does help us, have a resource for everything that we do.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
I feel like also I vortex people in. It's interesting, like the right people find me at the right time. And so I really want to encourage people, if you feel attracted to something, that is a representation of your like inner compass saying, I know this is right for me. I'm aligned to this, because that kind of feeling is what creates momentum for us to follow through with commitments and to feel good about the choices we make. And less is more sometimes. Most of us need to just give back to ourselves at this time that we're going through in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's what, for all of us out there that even can feel that energy and that connection this moment, that's what I really feel that you're offering, is the ability to have connectivity and a sense of not only connection to ourselves, but also to other people that are out there experiencing the same. I think the biggest illusion we have is I'm the only one going through this particular emotion ever in the history of humankind. It's like, no, like there's relatable experiences that we can all have. And when we open up, I think that you spoke about it earlier, there's a breakthrough opportunity for all of us when you're like, oh, wow, like we're all part of this, intertwined, thread of time and space. And, little side note, my brother, when he came and visited me in Costa Rica, he was showing me like our family genealogy and the family tree and human beings and this and that. I was like, whoa, like it's just keep on going and going. And we're this like blink of an eye, here we are. And what do we get to do? Like we get to have that realization that we have the gift of life and we can pay it forward and pass it on and really allow for other people to have the opportunity. And the alignment, as what you were sharing, is really beautiful, because we have our conscious mind, we have the unconscious. And sometimes you have this sense of like, oh, intuitively, I'm really feeling drawn towards doing or taking on or being this new version of who I am. And especially, with spring equinox happened March 20th, and here we are in this new season, and we are creatures of the seasons. And for us to awaken and be alive and, to explore who we are and what's available, I think is really powerful. So any closing words, Erika? I'm so grateful that you're on the 5Q interview show today.
Thank you. Well, I had so much fun. And thank you, Dave. I know the last time we tried to plan this, it didn't work out. So I know that there's a perfect timing, a divine timing in this universe. So I know this is exactly when it needed to happen. And I really want to just encourage people right now during this time to take super good care of themselves, to laugh often and be light. To remember like the basic things. It's like everything is changing. Nothing is going to stay the same forever. So if you're going through something tough, like it is going to change. But while we're going through something tough, we have to really care for ourselves. And so coming back to the three basic things that are never going to change. And that is we're alive and we are breathing and that we are here. We're alive, we're breathing, we're here. And if we can just kind of get back to that little nitty-gritty essential thing that's always going to be there, that kind of helps us really ground into the present moment, help us remember like, oh yeah, I'm in my body. I'm on this earth. I'm a breathing, living being. Okay. Now I can go from here into whatever's in front of me that I have to deal with. So thank you.
Aho, be here now.
And I finish all my classes besides saying aloha when I see people, aloha and namaste. I always say to my students at the end of class, the metta prayer, which is loka samasta, Sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May all beings everywhere know the light of their true nature and live from it. May we be peaceful. May we experience and know freedom. Love to all, light to all, life to all. Namaste.
Namaste. So beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Muchas gracias. So much aloha.
Mahalo nui loa.
Thank you, everyone that was able to experience this beautiful connection today in this conversation, to get to understand who this beautiful soul is and what's available for you. And we would love, love, love for you to go to the link and to sign up for any of the courses that are there. And if you have any questions, just fill out the contact form, go to the Instagram. And of course, if you're interested in hearing some high vibrational music, I encourage you to go to DTO Music. DTO Music, you can find me on all the places and spaces, all the platforms. And it's so wonderful that we get to be globally connected. And again, this is an international interview, and we are truly stepping into a more awareness of, one of the silver linings I'll say about the pandemic is we get to choose where we want to be physically, right? Because everything's online, and we're here able to stay connected. And as you said, it is divine timing that we're here. So thank you once again. And if you're not watching it right now, I'm grateful that you're watching on the archive, and we can't wait to stay connected. So reach out to either one of us, and much love to everyone. Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.